The growing global demand for gas means Africa stands to benefit from the opportunities this presents. The ongoing war in Ukraine is impacting the supply of gas to Europe. Prashean Reddy is a partner at global management consultancy firm Kani, and they say that this will allow Africa to also play a vital part in the world economy. He joins us now for a discussion on this. Prashean, thank you so much for making time. What kind of opportunities is the African continent standing to benefit from this growth in global demand for gas and oil?
Thank you for having me, Clement. It's clear that, following the crisis in Europe with regards to the Ukraine-Russia war, that there is a deficiency of the supply of gas, and about, 103 billion cubic meters of gas we used per year from Russia. That is not necessarily going to be available to the market, and Europe, for example, has been sourcing more gas from around the world, be it Qatar, Australia, and African countries.
Yeah.
And so there's definitely a role for Africa to play in potentially supplying a lot of that gas as well into Europe.
Yeah, but there are also a lot of areas that you also need to balance, because I think what's clear is that the continent remains that highly attractive prospect for exploration and investment by oil and gas companies. But are we tapping into that potential, and how do we do that while we're balancing the interests of environmentalists as well? Because I'm sure you've heard, every time there's some exploration happening somewhere, you've got NGOs that come up that are concerned about marine life.
Yeah, I think, you have to look at it from a broader picture. I think, of course, environmental concerns are important and climate change is a reality. We have to balance, though, our energy security needs. We already know that 600 million people on the continent don't have access to power. We are struggling with our own energy crisis at the moment in South Africa. And can we ignore the natural resources we have to support and beneficiate and promote energy security to ensure that we have a balanced use of the different energy sources available to us to ensure that we have reliable energy? If we don't have reliable energy, I don't even think energy sustainability becomes a question. So it has to be a balance. I think we can't take one angle and not the other when it comes to energy security for the continent.
Yeah, that balance is going to be so important. Let's look at this war in Ukraine now. That's impacting of the supply of gas to Europe. What we are seeing on the continent is that we are turning into a critical energy jewel, so to speak, for Europe that's been struggling lately because they want to meet their energy needs. I mean, there's the irony there, Prashean, that I'm really struggling to push off, where we ourselves are struggling to meet our energy needs, but we've become a place that Europe can get to meet their energy needs.
Yeah, you're quite right. And it's obviously Europe is not just looking to Africa. Of course, the Americas, the Middle East, and Asia have been also supplying energy into Europe. But I think your point is valid. We in ourselves have had an energy security crisis for much longer than Europe has. And we cannot ignore that as well in this mix. Again, probably the question of balance comes into it. We must look at beneficiating the resources for the continent as well. Probably first, our own energy security needs need to be put first before the needs of other countries, because it is important that we industrialize, we create social development within our continent, and without energy that becomes highly difficult. So you're quite right. We have to balance these things, but at the same time we should also, as Africans, take the opportunity to monetize our gas, generate capital for our economies, so we can inject that into the development of our economies.
Yeah.
So it is quite important that we probably balance the needs of both the continent and the world on the back of that.
Yeah. So how do we capitalize on these opportunities while being cautious of the consequences that may arise for our energy landscape?
Well, look, I think the market is clearly there, right? If the one thing you can be certain of in Africa is that there's an energy need, there's a demand that we just do not satisfy. It's about creating certainty to invest in those opportunities. I think that the challenge we've had is that we've not provided a certain environment for projects and investments to go ahead at large scale. Be it the delay in policies, or be it the disruptions we've had in northern Mozambique and in other areas. We need to create that level of certainty in the environment to allow these projects to go ahead. Because there's certainly the gas, there's certainly the renewable projects, the green hydrogen projects. They're all available to be exploited in the Southern African context. But we find that there's many delays in the execution of these projects, which is not helping our energy security needs. So we firstly got to enable ourselves. It's quite strange that otherwise a lot of this gas is going to just be exported because there's an easier value chain available for that to happen.
Yeah. Are we fully taking advantage of the green hydrogen sector? I'm asking this because, I do think we could see a significant economic development, even reindustrialization, job creation, even energy security if we fully explore the green hydrogen economy. Are we tapping sufficiently into this sector?
Well, it's very nascent at the moment, so it's quite a new energy sector that's developing, particularly green hydrogen. And this week at the Africa Energy Indaba, there was a lot of discussion. Namibia was quite present at the Indaba around their activities in energy, not just in green hydrogen, but also in oil and gas. And it was very clear that they've created quite a stable plan and environment for investment in green hydrogen. And they've moved quite quickly. And I think South Africa has to replicate a very similar model to ensure that they can create the right kind of attractiveness for green hydrogen in South Africa. We definitely have an asset in Sasol, which is a local energy company that has the capabilities to exploit green hydrogen given their previous experience in synthetic fuels. So I think we've just got to create the right environment. It is an early stage technology. I must caution that this is not a short-term solution to our energy problems. But it's certainly something that we can revolutionize our economy if we are to invest in green hydrogen, because we are probably one of the top 5 destinations in the world where you can produce green hydrogen at one of the lowest cost points because of our access to large-scale renewables and land.
Yeah. In fact, I think since around 2007, I think the Department of Science and Innovation has been researching green hydrogen for a while now. So there are opportunities for us to really tap fully into this industry, and also being cautious, as you say. This is something that's new. Thank you for making time for us, Prashean. I really appreciate your time.